recycle bin, you should see a lot of the cards that I go through. And, yeah, you share the Mike Trout rookies, you share the Kobe rookies and all the fun stuff, but I don't share enough some of the garbage. Sometimes it's literal garbage that I find in the pallets of baseball cards and hockey and soccer from Goodwill. So it's like halfway through looking through a random box, it's like, I need to wash my hands. So a lot goes into the recycle bin. So, and I'm still like, I've barely scratched the surface with the Goodwill pallet. It's been a week now. So it's just, it's not top of mind, with just catching up on everything else, trying to get to my 10,000 listings through Card Dealer Pro, and I'm getting close. I have until the 18th to use up 10,000. I think I'm around 7,000. I added about 800 new cards to the eBay store yesterday, and some of which came out of the bulk boxes. I did tackle some bulk boxes that I bought, actually that are from the boxes that are in the thumbnail. So a lot, actually, I think everything that I listed yesterday, 800 cards, came out of those bulk boxes. A lot of the stuff will go into my quarter boxes, so I can have some fresh inventory for this Saturday's card show in Rockford, Illinois, at the Rock Church on Harrison Avenue. That's this Saturday, the 10th of September. I can't believe it's Wednesday already. The weeks are flying by, and I feel like I'm barely treading water, although I worked through the weekend, and I finally took a little R&R last night, just kind of vegged on the couch. Didn't even watch Hobby Hotline. I popped in for a brief moment to say hello, and I'll watch it on replay here this morning. But I was on the couch. My wife and I were watching. So my wife's a realtor. I've mentioned that. And so sometimes she watches these crazy ass shows. And so I guess how I could compare the real estate show, like the real life of most realtors, and then watching reality realty shows. It's kind of like us. We collect cards, and then we watch a TV show of whatever Ken Golden show is going to be, and it's going to be Mickey Mantle rookies and all this crazy stuff. And it's like, that's not real life. I get that's isn't that ironic? Too bad Alanis Morissette didn't. Although I think Alanis Morissette didn't she update her ironic song? But it's like, man, if she was only 10 years later, she could talk about how ironic reality television is, because it's not real. Anyway, there's a new show, I think it's Netflix, called Buy My House. And it's basically Shark Tank for realty investors. So it's very Shark Tank-esque. There's also Shark Tank is now it's breaking off to all of these other types of industries. So there's a show in the works. It's delayed because I was going to be a part of it from John Cena Productions, and it's basically it's like this show it's kind of in delay is Shark Tank meets American Pickers, I think is how they sold it. So they all break off. So now there's Shark Tank. Eventually there's going to be Shark Tank for sports, and it's going to be tailored to memorabilia, not cards, the John Cena show. So Shark Tank meets meets memorabilia. Shark Tank meets realty. Shark Tank. So so we were watching that. So a little R&R on the couch, watching Buy My House. They actually had a show house here in Madison, right on the lake. I think one of the Sharks investors bought it for like 1.8 million, I think is what it sold for. Not in my neighborhood, that's for sure. Ed, what's up? Good morning to you. Terry, good morning. John is with us. Victor, George, Herman, David, good morning, all. Diego's with us. What's up, Diego? George says, I'm loving this week. No classes tomorrow and 4-day weekend for Korean Thanksgiving. Hey, can't beat that. Royals 417 in the house. There's Dan. Work tomorrow, but Samsung game at night, then the 4-day weekend. For Dan, John says, Alanis Morissette's song didn't suggest anything that was actually ironic. Isn't that the irony behind that song? It was just bad luck. The only irony in the song is that it was called ironic and it was written by someone who doesn't understand irony. That's true. Rain on your wedding day isn't ironic. 10,000 spoons when all you need is it a knife? 10,000 spoons and all you need is a knife. I think that's how it goes. That was, speaking of Alanis Morissette and Jagged Little Pill, which ironic was on, was one of my 12 CDs for a penny from Columbia House back in the day. I took full advantage as like a little twerp 12-year-old. I was probably 14. With a BMG subscription and Columbia House, and then let's use my PO box this time instead of my street address. Oh, hey, BMG, so let's get 48 CDs for 4 cents. I think I probably still raise your hand if you were part of the reason Columbia House went bankrupt. I mean, bad on them for like letting. I mean, yeah, sure, I'm 18. Yeah, I'm 8 years old and I'm buying 12 CDs for a penny, and then you don't fill your obligation. Abraham, what is up? Dan had like 12 fake accounts. George says, Bo ain't got no bucket, so he can't carry no tune. That is true. Victor took full advantage. Herman raised his hand. Kyle in the house, what's up? Columbia House never figured out I had 47 aliases. I think this chat alone helped Columbia House go bankrupt. Zach and Porter in the house. So I had one of my aliases, speaking of, one of my alias, and this actually does have a baseball card twist to it. One of my aliases that I used for Columbia House or BMG. And if you Google my name and it comes like aliases, I bet this alias comes up. Bean, like Mr. Bean, Bean Thompson. And my dad always jokingly called me Bean. And here's why. I must have had poor handwriting as a youth. And my name is Bo, spelled Beau. Many people don't know that spelling. And they're like, what's your name? It's Bo. Oh, I didn't know it was spelled like that. It's like, yeah, it is. And people Bew, which I get because that's the first 4 letters in the word beautiful. So people think it's Bew. So anyway, Bean Thompson, because I had poor handwriting, I guess, and I sent away from like the back of a Sports Collector's Digest or Beckett magazine. Somebody in the classifieds had vintage Cubs or vintage baseball cards. Send a postcard and get my newsletter, whatever. So I sent in I probably still have. It's in my baseball card folder of paperwork from like the early days of the internet. And I have a Larry Fritch cards catalog from like 1998. I've got some of my eBay printouts from back in the day. And I have this guy's like price list. And he was from Godfrey, Illinois, which was a suburb. It's on the Illinois side of St. Louis. And he sent in an envelope with his price list addressed to Bean Thompson. And so for some reason, my dad thought that was the funniest thing in the world. And he would always tease me about my name being Bean. So I'm like, I rolled with it. And I used it for one of my BMG or Columbia House aliases back in high school. Terry says, I think they were the subjects of my first collection notices. C&M Collectible says, Time Life never saw me coming either. Peanut was a brief nickname amongst one group of friends. Dan, what is up, DR? Dan Korean Cardboard says, I think I bought the Time Life Christmas CD years ago, but have it on PC now. Love that album and Christmas music. Cheers to that. I love Christmas. I love Christmas music. I love Hallmark Christmas movies, and I'm not afraid to admit it. Herman says, Boot was the nickname my grandfather gave me, never called me by my real name. I wonder if that's Herman, you're from a small town, right? Smaller, I guess. Um, I think that's like a small town thing. Like my hometown, 800 people, 900 people. Um, Everybody has a nickname. And it's like, what's their real name? Nobody knows. Yeah, it's like Fish and Sauce. And it's like, what's Sauce's real name? Nobody knows. My dad was Hollywood. And it's like everybody has a nickname. My friend Mark, real name Mark, we called him Bill from like 4th grade on. His parents call him Bill. It's not his name. It's not even his middle name. It's not even like Mark William. No, I don't know what his middle name is. Mark Henry. I don't know. The wrestler. We call him, everybody in a small town has nicknames. It's weird. Why is that? Why is that? Now, is there like a psychology behind that? I'd like to read an article. Why does everybody in a small town have a nickname? Nobody wants to call because it's not cool. Your real name's not cool enough. I had like 14 nicknames. Being the only Bo in my entire town school, all 800 of us. But I was a kid during the height of Bo Jackson, so that was cool. Like I hated my name because I was the only Bo. Like Bo, nobody else is named Bo. It's like, well, you don't want to follow everybody else. Be your own person. Be a Bo. So it was like Bo Knows. Everybody called me Bo Knows for a while. Bo Diddley, because Bo Diddley was part of the Bo Jackson commercials. My neighbor called me Bo Shit. Everybody has a nickname. C&M says 3 salad shooters for $9.99 was such a good deal. I had to order 27 amongst friends and family. Abraham says Lauren loves Hallmark Christmas movies too, so I am subject by proxy. They're all the same, but I love them all. And I watch so many of them now that I have like my favorite actors and actresses of Hallmark Christmas movie, because they're like typecast. Like once you're in like a decent Hallmark Christmas movie, I don't know how they judge that. Like Candace Cameron Bure just all of a sudden became like by default the queen of Hallmark Christmas movies. I don't know how that happens, but she's like my favorite. And I'll watch everything with her in it. Lacey, what's her name? Lacey Chabert from Party of Five. I'm a big fan of her. But then there's like Winnie from Wonder Years. I don't like her acting in Hallmark Christmas movies. I don't know why that is. DR says it nicknames double the population. Why the heck did they call him Bill? We don't know. And we create like his friends, me being one of them. I think it was just like right place at the right time or wrong place at the wrong time. It was just like, hey, Bill. And it just stuck. It's just one of those things. There was no rhyme or reason to it. We're just going to shout out a random. I actually have a funny nickname story. I'm not going to share it. I'm not going to share it. And it was okay. I'll share the story, but I'm not going to share the actual nickname. So it was my sophomore year in high school. And actually, funny enough, of course, when you live in a town of 800, your friend circle is pretty small in high school. I was at Bill's house. My friend Bill, who that's not his real name. His real name's Mark. It was actually his sister's apartment. His sister was probably in college. She might have been out of college by this point, but that was like she was a young adult and, had an apartment in town. He lived like way out in the country on a farm. So he's like, I'm going to hang out and we're going to, cause a ruckus in our small town. And we've got a base because his sister's never home. She's young. She lets us do whatever we want. So we're at his sister's apartment. right in Uptown. We don't call it downtown, Uptown Anawan. There's about 6 of us sitting around a table. And how often, think back to your high school days, how often you weren't doing a damn thing, especially your homework. It was probably a school night. It was actually Halloween. It was Halloween night, and her apartment had a balcony that overlooked the street. Town of 800. It's not a very busy street. There's not much to watch. And we're just sitting around, just being dumb 15-year-old, 16-year-old kids. Bill's older brother, Jeff, was in college. So I think he was a senior when we were freshmen. So he would have been a freshman in college at this point, sophomore in college. And his sister, the older sister, called to check in. And, we're all sitting around. Everybody has nicknames, right? It's a small town. Everybody has nicknames. So Jeff's going around, and Jeff, we called him Bomber. So play on the last name. So Bomber's going around telling his sister who's all at the apartment, and gets to me, and I'm just Bo. Some people call me Bo Nose. Some people call me Bo Diddley. Some people call me this. Some people call me that. I didn't have a nickname that stuck. So gets around to me, and for some reason he pulls 2 words out of his rear end, and very unfortunate. Only one. Well, the first part of what he called me was unfortunate, and it was one of those things. Where in the hell did you even come up with that nickname? And unfortunately, he thought of it as he approached here. This is unfortunate nickname. And it wasn't, there was nothing behind it. It was just wrong place, wrong time. And unfortunately that name stuck. And even today, and this has been, how old was I in sophomore year? 15? And I'm 30. No, that math isn't right. Gosh, I'm aging myself. 25 years ago. And I'll go back to my hometown, Anawan Fun Days, and I'll run into Bomber. And fortunately, he's the only one that still remembers that nickname. Bill might. Everyone else forgot, but through the rest of high school, it didn't stick. It wasn't a true nickname, but it was for Bill's older brother. And that's how it works. It's dumb luck sometimes. And usually, Bo T was, what did my friend Chuck his name was Charlie. So Chuck is an easy nickname for Charlie. We called him Chuck T Nuts sometimes just because we were immature high school kids. But it's most of these nicknames just come out of nowhere. Here's another one. Our friend Adam, we called him Sancho. The only reason we called him Sancho was because of the movie Orgasmo, which is it wasn't up for any Oscars, that's for sure. And there's a character in Orgasmo called Sancho. And so we were watching Orgasmo one night because, hey, that's what you do when you're 15. You watch dumb comedies. And big group of us watching it. Hey, who doesn't have a nickname yet? Adam, you are Sancho. So yeah, nicknames. Nicknames are funny. Maybe it's because we lived in a small town. We had nothing better to do, and that was how we entertained ourselves. Let's make up stupid nicknames for each other. Let's see. Herman says he gave me mine because I have his middle name, and he never liked his middle name. Randy says, are you going to change your username after you hit 1 million Cubs cards? You're going to change it to 2 million. No. And here's why. Some people ask me why I call myself 1 million Cubs now when I don't even have 1 million Cubs. I'm at 832,000. So right now it's not 1 million Cubs. So no, I will not change it. It will continue to be 1 million Cubs. I will not go for 2 million Cubs. I will still collect Cubs, but I will be much more picky. I'll only buy and trade for Cubs cards that I don't have. Mark Hoyle in the house. Good morning to you. Dan says, I just realized Lacey, how do you pronounce her last name? Chabert was in Hem, so I may need to watch now. She was a crush. She got better looking with age. like today, yeah, I'm a fan. Victor says Lacey was in Groundswell, big fan. Victor's a big fan. Y'all were strange or bored. We were both. We were strange and bored. Shabir. So what else went on last night? So I rest and relaxation, watched By My House. Listed a bunch of cards on eBay yesterday. Did I go anywhere? Did I do anything? Guess what I had for dinner last night? Peanut butter and jelly. It was one of those nights where it's like on the couch, what's for dinner? I don't know. What's for dinner? I don't know. What do you want? I don't know. And then finally it's like, you just have to deal with it. It's like, oh, we need to go to the grocery store. I don't want to spend any time cooking. I'm hungry now. I've got bread. I've got peanut butter. I've got jelly. I don't even know what my wife had. I think maybe pasta. Threw some pasta in a pan. I had peanut butter and jelly. Mark, I've got a nickname I got in 3rd grade. Everyone in town still calls me that. I actually go by it in everyday life now. That's awesome. Good morning, Cooter. Cooter's got that's not his real name. How did Cooter get his name? Fall Creek says, geez, I'm late. Please don't ban me. You're good. You're good. You're just a little tardy. I haven't even tackled the subject yet. Which is typical. We're only 20 minutes in. If anybody's new here and they saw the topic, and here's just for future reference, because I know that's annoying. Like, I don't want to listen to you talk about your high school nickname or what you had for dinner last night. I want to hear you talk about how you price out bulk buys. If you're new here, usually the first 30 minutes I talk about what I had for dinner last night, childhood nicknames, and stupid stuff like that. Mindless topics. And then about the 30-minute mark, that's when I actually get into what I advertised on the title and on the Twitters. Let's see. Dan says, my friends invited me over for chicken parm pasta last night. Victor says, since 78, my nickname, Cub Vic. I like it. There was something else. Let's see. What else was there? There was one other thing that I wanted to touch on, and now I can't remember. DR says, baseball team manager had the best nickname, Dusty Sparky. I like, from a nickname, I like Sparky. Dusty's kind of common. Dusty's even like a real name. But Sparky's a little different. I'll take Sparky. I had something that I wanted to briefly mention, and now I cannot remember what it was. The hell was it? Was it something that somebody said? I don't think so. Dan says, my nickname for most of grade school and high school was Squiz. Yes, heard all the jizz comments. Right. Well, yeah, you're in junior high and high school, of course. Damn it. Now I can't remember what I was going to. I'm sure it wasn't important. Oh. Thought it came to me. It did not. What was it? Oh, this wasn't it, but I priced out and I want to look. So at Wrigley Field, they have what's called the 1914 Club. And those are the seats you see on TV. They're right behind home plate. There's underground, under the seating, there's like a fancy restaurant. And so if you get tickets for the 1914 Club, it is all you can eat, all you can drink. Now, the tickets are really expensive. But on the secondary market, when your team is 20 to 25 games below 500, those ticket prices on the secondary market start to decline. Now, we're in September. We're after Labor Day. They go even further. And so me and one of my friends here in town, we've been talking about, like, yeah, once the prices dip to like a certain price level, let's do it. And during the summer, I'm like monitoring. The Cubs suck. 20 games below 500. I'm like, these ticket prices have to come down. Well, during the summer months, they never came down. And they did. But like the cheapest I could find was like $450, which is, it's, do I want to spend $450 even though it's all you can eat, all you can drink right behind home plate? Nah, not really. Fall Creek says like $400 a seat. Yes. So it's $400 a seat plus all you can eat and all you can drink. I can drink, and beers are about $13 at Wrigley Field. And you want a hot dog or something like that, it's going to cost you another 10. So it can get expensive. So it's like, $400. I don't really want to do it. So I looked at the Cubs schedule, and I had dates circled on my internal calendar to reach out to my buddy and say, hey, let's check pricing on the 1914 club. And those games are being held this week because the Cubs are hosting the Cincinnati Reds, who equally suck. They might suck worse than the Cubs. At least they did last night. Hayden Wesneski, wow, what a game for him, coming out of the bullpen, 5 innings, 8 strikeouts, and a win. He was acquired in the trade from the Yankees. So I looked at pricing, and the prices have dropped considerably. So last night I was looking, and let's go to, got to get 2. I wonder if these tickets have been scooped up, because for tonight is a night game. Come on. Here we go. Oh, they're still available. 1914 club. This is row 5 behind home plate. $202 per ticket. $202 per ticket. So then I was like, oh, how about Thursday? That's a day game. Maybe it's going to be nice. They were a little bit more when I looked last night, and I'm sure they're, let's see. Come on. There we go. $248. And that's also row 5, probably the same seller. So there you go. But I sent the screenshots to my friend, and he's like, damn it. He's like, I cannot do any games the rest of the year because of work. So I probably, and I've done 3 Cubs games already, and it's kind of like that thought has that ship has sailed. But $250, that is well worth it to sit right behind home plate, and all you can eat, all you can drink. Cooter says, with a name like Tom, you always get asked for a last initial when you order lunch. No one asks if you tell them your name is Cooter. I ended up with a bunch of loyalty cards with Cooter on them. That's awesome. That is awesome. Dan says, at $400, you better turn in Homer Simpson and Joey Chestnut combination performance. Fall Creek says, is parking free at Wrigley? Oh, no. Parking is going to run you about $50, $40, depending on how close you want. When me and my friend went down last month, I think the Cubs have a parking lot. It was $60 for that parking spot, which, was worth, because it's easy in, easy out. It's secure lot. You can pay $20 a few blocks away, but you're going to be sardined in, and it might not be the most secure lot. I've paid $50 for like a friend of mine who I met through getting autographs, had a connection. It was a woman who lived like a block away, just behind Waveland Avenue. And it was like literally 1 block. And it was $50 for her, like a parking spot at the apartment complex. And so it was great. Just text her when you get there, and here's $50. Thanks. Have a fun game. And off I went. So yeah, it's $50 on average for parking. I typically don't drive. Like, I don't know if I've ever driven myself to a Cubs game. I always I follow what they tell me on the game, on the TV broadcast. Take public transportation, which is it's even more expensive than $50 for a parking spot and gas. Because that damn, and it's not like the Red Line or the Metra. It's and I guess it would probably be cheaper to take the Metro all the way down and then hop on the red line and go up. That would be the cheapest, but it would also be like the most inconveniencing because it's going to take you longer. And I hate the red line, especially on Cubs game day. So I'll just spend a few extra bucks, jump off at Irving Park or whatever stop that is, pay the $20, but then getting back to the train station from Wrigley is a nightmare. And you're talking a $60 Uber ride for about 2 miles. It sucks. That's why I only go to 2 or 3 games a year. Let's see. John says the Rockies are hopeless. They even mess up tanking. I know right now it's at the time of the year. It's like, okay, you suck, just lose games. So you get a better draft pick. And then teams start winning. Cooter says I avoid using my name on social media due to my line of work. So Cooter it is. I have a friend that does the same thing, and I'm pretty sure he's in the same line of work. Herman says Kyle Wright didn't have a great game last night, but got the W. I did list my Kyle Wright refractors last night. I didn't even realize he was pitching. Fall Creek says $50 is livable. Let's see. Dan says if I were a porn star, I wouldn't use my real name either. Max in the house, what is up? Got to use the park and ride nights and weekends for free. Toyota lot is pricey, but nice and close. Fall Creek says when the Vikings Twins played at the Metrodome, parking was $50 for baseball, $75 for football. Same lot. Interesting how that works. Mark says I've got a customer that lives a half mile from Fenway. She lets us park for free. Oh, that's awesome. That is nice. Fall Creek says Tops Fire just dropped on Target for those who care. Interesting. If you want to share, let's get you a wrench. If you want to share the link, go ahead and drop it in if you're still there. If not, no worries. Victor pays $50 for parking at the Bears. I have never been to a Bears game at Soldier Field. I mentioned this before. I've only been to 2 NFL games. Lambeau Field, Bears, Packers a few years ago, and then Rams, Saints in St. Louis that's been 15 years ago now. More than that. That was probably in like 2004. So damn near 20 years. Holy cow. So let's talk. There it is, Fall Creek with the I want to open that up. I want to see. Tops Fire is something where it's I think it's a fun rip. Now, are you going to make money reselling it? No, probably not. I like the blaster boxes. Oh, these are these are hobby boxes. I think those I would not recommend. You get 2 autographs per box, 20 packs, 6 cards. So what's that? 120 cards. 120 cards, 2 autographs, and $80. The autographs are going to resell for about $5. Even if you pull like a hot autograph, it's not going to be great. I would recommend buying blasters. If I see blasters in the wild, if I go to Walmart or Target this week, so their Tops Fire is Target. Typically it's been hasn't Tops Fire been a Walmart product? Or am I thinking another retail? I can't remember. But Tops Fire is something, if I see it out in the wild, I'll buy a few blasters because you can sell the singles. It's not going to be, you're probably not going to make much, if any, on the resale, but it's a fun rip. It's a fun rip. If you like the product, yeah, it's definitely worth it. Herman says I may grab one just to have something to rip. That's kind of my thought. Like I haven't ripped baseball, so it's always been a Target exclusive. So what's the Walmart? Walmart must be Bowman Platinum. Walmart is Gallery. Okay. Walmart is Gallery. Okay. Fire and Chrome Update have been a Target exclusive. And then Bowman Platinum has been a Walmart. And Bowman Megas have been Target. But going back to Herman's comment, like that's like I am just itching to rip baseball. Like I love baseball cards. I love Bowman U. I've been ripping a lot of that lately. But it's like there hasn't been a baseball product I've wanted to rip since Bowman, probably. There's just everything's been delayed and pushed out. So now it's like I think Topps Pro Debut, it is set. Pro Debut is coming out September 30th. I talked to my buddy Tom. He looked it up because I bought that case of Bowman U from him over the weekend. So he did confirm there is a street date from Topps. It is confirmed September 30th for Topps Pro debut. So I may get a case of that. And then we've still got Topps Update. We've got Allen and Ginter. We've got Topps Chrome. We've got Heritage Miners, Bowman Draft, Archives, and Stadium Club. I don't even think they have street dates yet, if they even come out. Who knows? But yeah, I'm itching to rip some baseball, even though it's the end of the season. Let's see. Terry says they have the Blasters also. Excellent. Let's see. We talked about that. So, let's talk about $25 for Blasters. I'd take the hobby box first for the 2 autos. I'd go Blasters all the way. Let's actually, you know what? Let's do some math. Oh, just what we want to do at 8 o'clock, 7:30 in the morning. Math. And I'm going to do some more math. We're going to talk about it. If you're just joining, and if you wanted to hear me talk about how I price my bulk collections I buy, I have not talked about that yet. I will get to that here in just a moment. I'll share some more math with you. So this is what I do, since I can just lead in from Topps Fire to bulk lots, since I'm going to do some math on both. So here's the blaster box. So what I do when I'm pricing out things like this, so there's my math for the bulk lots. So Topps Fire Blaster is $25. And what do we get? So we get 7 times 6. So we get 42 cards. And then you get 4 gold mint. So that's so is that a bonus? So 6 packs, 6 plus, that must be a bonus pack. So 46 cards, and you're paying $25. So we're going to do 25 divided by 46. So you're paying 54 cents a card. And that's in the blaster. So let's go to the hobby. You're paying $80. You get 2 autos. And you're going 20 times 6 is 120. And you're paying 80 divided by 120. So you're paying 67 cents per card, but you get those 2 autos. Now I break it down. This is what I do with Bowman when I'm comparing prices on Bowman jumbos versus hobby versus super jumbo or whatever. I look at the price per auto. So your price per auto, 2 autos, you're paying $40 per auto, plus the base being bonus. And I just don't see the value in that because the autos are like $5 autos out of Topps Fire. So breaking this down, and now seeing it on paper, 54 cents, no guaranteed autos. I'm paying 54 cents per card for the Topps blaster, or 67 cents per card with 2 autos at $80. The 2 autos being just kind of like, I would go blaster box, but that's just me. And I'm also looking at this through the lens of potential. Like I want a balance of resale and fun. Like this is a product I'm going to enjoy ripping, but I also want to try to get some money back. I don't want to just, if I buy one blaster, $25, I don't want to just throw away $25 and call it a night. I want to recoup some of that $25 back, knowing full well I'm likely not going to make much of a profit, if any. Let's see. Cooter says, I won a box of football on Hobby Hotline. Not sure what to do. I pride myself in saying I don't rip wax. Is it okay since I only collect baseball? I think it's okay for 2 reasons. Number 1, you didn't buy it. You won it. So it's a bonus. And number 2, it's football. Yeah, you're a baseball guy. So yeah, you can rip it. So I say, yeah, since you didn't actually buy it, you can still say you don't rip wax. Adam says, if you want the volume of cards, 120 cards in the hobby box at the blaster, 54 cents per would cost $65. So you were effectively paying $15 for the 2 autos. Breaking out the math even further, I would agree with that. So, so there you go. So yeah, it's kind of a horse apiece, right? So if you want the autos and the cards, you get more. You get 20 packs. That's what I like. So what? One year, Bowman Platinum did like they didn't do. How did they do it? I think they just did like a blaster box was just a pack. It was in like a clear plastic, and it's like I want to open packs. Like I don't want to just open like that's why I don't like hanger boxes because they just come in that one pack. Like I want to rip packs. I don't want to just rip one pack. I feel like I'm getting gypped. I'm getting ripped off. So yeah, doing Adam's math, kind of extending the math out, paying $15 for the two autos makes it a little more enticing. Let's talk more math. How do I calculate the math on buying bulk lots? So I've talked about this in the past, and some people have asked me, and I'm like, I've done a video, I don't know where. Just search my channel on YouTube. So I wanted to revisit it because it's probably been a while. And I bought some bulk this past weekend on Sunday at the card show in Janesville, Wisconsin. And it's top of mind. And I actually did some math more so many times, and I'll admit, not all the time do I actually break down the numbers when I'm buying bulk lots. I have an idea in my head. Okay, what's a good price? Like a dime box. Okay, the last Janesville show in July, I bought 2 full dime boxes for $50 each. I know the math on that. That's about a penny a card, and there's enough in there that I'm going to recoup $50 really fast. But what if it's a dollar box that I'm paying a couple hundred for? Now it's like, okay, now I'm not paying a penny per card. I'm paying maybe a nickel per card or getting close to a dime per card. Now I've got to really look at the numbers. Is this a viable number, and where should I be in a counter to a negotiation? So, and I talked about, and I'm going to use the example of a 5,000 count box that I'd actually inquired about at my show in Madison just a couple weeks ago. The same dealer was at the Janesville show, and I didn't even ask. He told me, he's like, hey, I don't want to take this home. Do you want to buy it? So now I know I've kind of got the upper hand in the negotiation. And I probably could have got it at the price that I had offered. But it was one of those where I had a range. And I usually go in with a range. So even if I don't break down the math, I'll have a range. And I have a bottom range and I have a top range. And it's like, I want to be somewhere in that range, and I'm okay. I don't like negotiating, and I don't want to nickel and dime, especially when I'm a promoter of a card show. I don't want to nickel and dime my dealers. If they offer a price that's within my range, I'm not going to counter and be this little smarmy little, oh, I want it for $10 cheaper. I don't want to do that. So just going back to the Madison show, I'd asked him, would you sell this box as a whole? And he's like, oh, I hadn't thought about it. Let me think about it. So as he thought about it, and this is a good time as the dealer thinks about it, I go through and start fanning through. So here's my approach. Just try to start from scratch. Here's my approach. First, I go through, before I even consider asking a dealer if they want to sell bulk, sell a quarter box or a dollar box in bulk, I kind of fan through. And I want to get an idea. Is there enough here that I know I can flip on eBay? And once I piece out. And so once I identify, hey, this is a decent box, and that's a subject for another day where I can break down, okay, I think I can move this on eBay, but I won't get into that here. So once I identify, okay, this is a box, and right now our example is going to be a 5,000 count box. Okay, where's my price going to be? My price was essentially where it was at the Madison Card Show for this particular box that I bought in Janesville. And I had asked him, and it's a 5,000 count box, and he wanted 400 initially. And that was too much. And so the top of my range was 200. And at that point in time, it's like, I've got enough. I don't even really want to spend 200 on this. And he's at 400. I don't want to. He was a first-time dealer at my show. I didn't want to, throw out my offer, even though, I mean, if you're a dealer at a card show, you're likely going to have thick skin, so it doesn't matter. But anyway, I'm like, I think I'm just gonna pass. So fast forward 2 weeks later, we're at the Janesville show, and I say hello. It's at the end of the show. Say hi. Say, what's going on? How'd you do? And he's like, hey, I don't want to take you. You asked about this at the last show. I don't want to take it home. And he says, I'll go 250 on it. So he's come down considerably from his 400 ask 2 weeks prior. And it looked like there was pretty much the same, like it was pretty full. Like I don't know if he had refilled it or if just nobody bought anything out of it. But there was still a lot of good stuff. So I'm looking through and I see some Juan Soto inserts, some Ronald Acuna inserts. There's a lot of bigger names. And it's kind of what I like. There's a mix of baseball, football, basketball. No soccer or hockey, though. I couldn't believe that. There was no hockey or soccer in this box. So I'm looking through it, and I'm like, okay, 250. I think we can make a deal on this because he's motivated to sell. He's already showed his hand that he doesn't want to take it home. He's dropped his price considerably, and on my side, I'm like, I've already bought 7 monster boxes and a stack of dollar cards. I'm good. Like I'm in buy mode now. So I think we can get a deal done. So I'm flipping through. Okay, his prices come down a little similar. So now here's where the math came in. Let's go back in. Cooter says, in a volume-based business like yours, you actually make your money on the buy side, not the sell side. Abso-freaking-lutely. Absolutely. And this is an example when you hear people, if you're not familiar with that, when you hear guys say within the hobby, within the baseball card industry, well, hit all the niches. When you hear that within the hobby, this is the prime example of, I didn't make my money on the sell side. I made it on the buy side, trying to get a good deal. And I may not make good money on the buy side on this. We'll see. I haven't even, the box is still in my car. I haven't brought it in yet. Herman says, woohoo, just traded a bunch of A&G commons for 2 Freeman SP variations. Very nice. So now it comes down to the math. Okay. So he's at $250. It's a full box. It's a 5-row box. So, most of them are not sleeved. So here's another way to figure. In a 4-row box is 3,200 raw cards. If there's penny sleeves, you're probably looking at 2,000 cards in a 4-row box. A 5-row box, I'm saying 3,000 cards. I'm going 3,000 cards with my math because I want to do my math. I want to underestimate and have more room than I want to overestimate and be like, oh crap, I did the math on 4,000 cards and there's only 3,000 cards. Where I'd rather say I did the math on 3,000 cards and hey, there's 3,500 or 4,000 cards or more. So I did the math. It's like, okay, it's 5-row box. I'm going to say there's 3,000 cards in this box. He's at $250. My price was 200. I'd already, like, 200 was my price. Like, I wasn't going to pay 250. If he was firm on 250, I would have walked away. 200 was on the high end of, I was between 150 and 200. 150 was my low, 200 was my high. So I'm doing the math, and he's already, showed his hand. He wants to get rid of it. He's offered the $250 sell price. Now I'm going to do the math, and I'm assuming there's 3,000 cards in this 5-row box. I'm going to assume I can sell 50% of them, which is it's a high number, but here's how it all is going to work out. So I'm going to assume 1,500 cards at $1.50 on eBay. And that's going to be my average because there's going to be cards in there that are, I already identified several cards that I can throw on eBay and sell for $2 to $3. There might be some short prints or variations that might go for $5. Who knows? There could be a $20 card in here. There always seems to be a hidden gem in these bulk boxes. So I'm going to assume, though, $1.50 is my base, the lowest price I'll sell on eBay, unless it's in a volume discount type of scenario. So I'm going to sell 1,500 cards at $1.50 each. My profit on that is 40 cents, right around 40 cents, 45, give or take. So that comes out to $600. Okay, that's tight margin. $600 I'm paying, if I want to get my price at 200, that's only a $400 profit. And there's going to be that's a lot of grind. I can list 1,500 cards using Card Dealer Pro pretty quickly, few hours, but it's going to take me several hours to ship those, assuming they're all individual sales. Now, again, I'm assuming they're individual sales because I don't want to say, oh, well, half of those are going to be 7 card sales or 5 card sales. So it's going to be quicker for me to pull and ship. So I'm just going to assume they're all 1,500 single sales. I'm going to use this box is a little unique because it was like a 50-cent box. So pretty much everything in here can go into quarter boxes. So I'm going to throw, 1,500 cards are going to go on eBay. The other 1,500, the other half, they will go into my quarter boxes. So I may, say I sell 10% of the 1,500 quarter cards in my quarter boxes. That's about $40. So we're at $640. So I'm at a $440 net. But that's going to take many hours to ship. If I sell the 1,500 cards, that's gonna take like 20 some hours to ship. That breaks down to about $17 per hour. When you consider the sorting, the listing, and the shipping is going to take the most of the time. But I figure $17 an hour is the lowest. Like that's worst case scenario. Maybe my 1,500 card estimate sales wise is a little. And it probably is at 50%. That's a little high. But my $1.50 average is going to be low. And I may sell more of those cards out of the quarter box. So I think, worst case scenario, $16, $17 an hour on this one box. I think that's worth it. It puts a decent amount of inventory in my store. Hopefully people take advantage of the volume discounts. So then that net goes higher and the hours to ship goes lower. So you're probably thinking, what in the hell are you doing? That is crazy. You're going to go through all that work and all that time for such little margin. Yes. Because this is all easy. This is easy. I've got a good system down. I've become quick at it. And this is what scares people away. Like once people that aren't familiar with doing volume and selling bulk, they start getting into it. And it's like, I was talking to somebody over the weekend at the show and they're like, I feel overwhelmed when I have 20 items to ship at a time. And, I'm doing, right now I have, after this live goes off, I will go to eBay, have probably 200, almost 200 items to ship. 178 items to ship. So, which as long as I keep it under 200, I feel okay. So that's the math behind it. That's one of the examples. There was another example from the Janesville show where I bought 7 monster boxes, the 4-row boxes, and I paid $150. And the math comes down to about a penny a card. And I was going through a baseball box yesterday. There were 5 or 6 Ellie De La Cruz first Bowmans, which are probably $2 or $3. There's a stack of Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani, like 50 to 75 cards of Trout and Ohtani. Now those will move fast out of the eBay store. So the turnover is quick. And again, it's a low dollar investment. It's not like it's not like this margin. It's like, okay, you're making that much per hour. You're putting this much time into it. But my investment was $200. That's really low when you think about it. When I just spent $1,400 on a case of a Bowman U. So when it comes down to it, buying in bulk and I'll identify how I go through cards, and I don't know if it'll be a hobby evolution episode. I've got many videos that I need to upload. I'm playing a juggling act and trying to balance my time. And so extra videos just aren't on the schedule at this time. So, but I do want to show how I identify cards that I think will sell in my eBay store. And I'll show off, and I've said this before, I'll show off, hey, look, I sold a 1991 Upper Deck Browning Nagel. Now, that doesn't mean you can throw 100 Browning Nagels in your eBay store and move them all in a week. That Browning Nagel may have sat in my eBay store for a year or more. And it just happened to sell, and then it's a good time for me to say, hey, everything sells on eBay. When in reality, yeah, kinda. There's qualifiers to it. So that's why I just wanted to show the math and show how I approach. And I will say this was kind of this particular, the example I showed this morning is kind of an outlier. I don't do these types of buys often. Typically, I'm trying to get cards for a penny because when I buy a penny per card, and then I can throw them in my quarter boxes, and I'm still, it's great quarter box inventory, and I know that I have a significant return with $1 or with a penny invested in a 25-cent sale. So this case where I spent $200 and paid, I think the breakdown was about 6 cents per card, is an outlier, but this was also not your typical bulk box. It was, there's a lot of Juan Soto's, Mike Trout's, Ronald Acuna's, football rookies. I'll have to dig through. Maybe I will go live tonight. Although I do want to watch AEW. If anybody watches wrestling at AEW and all the crap that went down for that over the weekend, I'm really interested in watching Dynamite tonight. Let's get to Cooter's comment. You then have to pay expenses, self-employment taxes, and income taxes out of that $17 an hour. You also give us an hour a day. I don't see how you do it, but we are all thankful you do. It is. And I will say, eBay is not my only source of income. Promoting shows, setting up at shows, the YouTube and website revenue is pretty minuscule. But the card show revenue is, helps out with eBay as I build the eBay business. So not there yet, but eventually will be. So yeah, and that's why people, everybody's situation is different. Everybody has a unique situation. And this type of sales method is not for everybody. Because they may not want to invest the time. I mean, I'm working around the clock. Like, when I'm awake, I'm usually doing something work related. But it's like my hobby too. It's like, this is, if I had an office job, I would be on the couch listing cards on eBay because it's what I enjoy doing. So, you got to take all that in and go from there. Thank goodness for your gigolo income, right? That pays the bills. So thanks for tuning in. I wanted to show the reality behind it. And I want to be transparent. And most people will look at those numbers and be like, that's a lot of work for low margins. And yeah, it is. Right now it is. Yeah. And I just want to be it's not, you're not going to get rich. Most people don't get rich selling baseball cards. So, but it's rich in life. And I love doing it. I'm able to pay the bills and do well. So it's fun. John, have a great day. You as well. Hitting the hour mark. I'm going to run. Don't forget this Saturday in Rockford, Illinois, the Northern Illinois Card Show. I will be there. I'll probably have some brand new quarter boxes. So check that out. Rock Church, Harrison Avenue, Rockford, Illinois, this Saturday. Next Madison Card Show is Saturday, September 24th at the Sheraton Hotel on John Nolan Drive. And October 15th and 16th, we've got the Midwest premiere. It's a 250 table show in Loves Park, Illinois, just outside of Rockford, at the Indoor Sports Center. It's on an indoor soccer field with nice, cushy turf, bar and restaurant that overlooks the show floor. That's October 15th and 16th. In Loves Park, Illinois, Indoor Sports Center, 250 tables. Looking forward to that. If you're interested in flying in, it's a quick drive from the airport, the O'Hare Airport, about an hour down the interstate. If you're familiar with I-90, and Rockford also has an airport if you can fly into Rockford. So October 15th and 16th, Midwest premiere, Indoor Sports Center in Loves Park, Illinois. So with that, I bid you adieu. Have a great day. I've got to take the trash and recycling out. We will talk tomorrow, 7 a.m. for Hobby Evolution.